Alright, so I thought I'd make a little video about tips for Diablo 2 Resurrected, because I'm busy playing it at the moment again. So the first one is going to be like just more of an idea, I guess, if you want to call it that. But if you've played Diablo 2, like you've played the shit out of it, and you're getting bored of it, but you don't want to stop playing, and you kind of just repeat the process and do like seasons and all of that crap, it might be a good idea just to try out to play the game without the expansion active, because that's how I'm playing the game at the moment, and I found that it's actually really cool, and it changes this game like surprisingly like quite a lot. That's in like unexpected ways that I had forgotten. The expansion adds a lot to the game. It changes the game like completely. I mean, other than the fact that you can't play assassin and druid, but also you can't like give equipment to your follower. You can't swap weapons. Like you can't have two sets of weapons. You can't. There's no runes, so there's no rune weapons or items. Rune word weapons. And your stash is tiny. There's just like a lot of stuff that they added in the expansion that changed the game quite drastically, and I think it's quite interesting just to play it without... so to do that, you just turn into a pre-expansion. You just turn it on when you make a new character. And it's really cool, honestly. So give it a shot. I think it's worth trying out. Okay, so the next tip is that you can have your mini-map, like, or not mini-map, like map overlay thing. You can have it here at the top corner. Yeah, that's just like, I enjoy having it there. Because I think on default it's set where the map is like overlaid over your screen or whatever. And I don't like that, because then it's like you're looking at the map more than anything. And this way I can look at the map, but I can also still kind of see what's going on in the game itself. Okay, so the next one is to carry some mana potions, especially if you like struggle against mana burn. As you can see, I don't have a lot of mana on my character. This might be like more melee character, like applicable or whatever, but for me specifically with my barbarian, I'm playing it on nightmare at the moment, and I think I'm level 48. I really struggle against the mana burn enemies. That's why I started carrying like just one row of mana potions. But I mean, you can even just carry it in like one or two potions here. It really helps, like if you want to use a skill or something. Like I'm only using frenzy most of the time, and whenever I fight against anything where I can't, like I do have a skull in my weapon that gives me mana drain as well, so I never run out of mana otherwise, unless I fight against skeletons. I think you can't drain mana from them, and then mana burn enemies. But like you saw, like I just popped a mana potion, and yeah, I managed to beat the thing relatively easily. Okay, so the next thing is vitality is probably the best stat, and you should spend most of your points in vitality. It really helps if you focus on vitality. I don't know if that's more for melee classes, but I find that especially with the barbarian, having a lot of life is making the game a lot easier. Like I'm on level 48 now in Nightmare. I'm almost done with Nightmare. I'm in Act 3. And yeah, just having a lot of vitality has really like saved me a lot, because I can like literally see when I'm starting to take a ton of damage, and then I can like start running away, or I can pop a potion and start running away, and it's saved me a lot. Generally strength and dexterity, you only need to take those up for your gear, right? So I needed 80 strength for my armor that I had on, but now I've changed it out for something different. And then also dexterity So dexterity depends, because I'm trying to keep my my hit rating quite high, like 80%, but generally like around 75% with this, I think fine. So I have taken up my dexterity. It was on 45. I've taken it up by 25 points in the last few levels. Another thing that I'm not spending all my stat points, so I always try and keep about 10 to 15. I spent a lot. I took up dexterity now because I wanted to get my hit rating higher. But generally, I try and keep my stats have some so that I can spend some points if I need gear. Like if I pick up a new item and I can't wear it because I need like maybe 90 strength or something, I can just pump 10 points into that to have. So I guess that's like 2 tips in one. Vitality is important, and keep some stat points around. Okay, so next one's it's more for Nightmare and Hell when you play on Nightmare and Hell. But resistances are very important. You want to try keep your resistances relatively high. So I've actually put points into natural resistances up to 40%. I'm going to put more skills into this eventually. The reason I stopped now was because it only goes up by like I think it only goes up by like 3 or something percent for the next point, and I was like, it's diminishing returns, so I'm going to keep it on 40% for now. And then I've got an amulet that's giving me plus 19 to all resistances, so that's why my resistance is decent. It's quite decent. Especially like lightning, I find that lightning damage does a lot of damage. And there's a lot of lightning enchanted enemies in the world. And if you get like surrounded by lightning enchanted enemies, they really like fuck you up really quickly. So yeah, resistance is important. Okay, so the next thing is like always try to keep some keys. You're going to find locked chests, and it's very frustrating when you don't have a key on you. So yeah, I mean that's pretty simple. I try and keep a stack of keys on me at all times. I mean, you can also keep town portals because you can buy keys from the vendors in town. So that's another way of, I guess, solving that problem. Okay, so this is another one. You generally want to try and not get surrounded. It's like you can get overwhelmed really quickly, especially with a barbarian. Or like, I guess melee classes in general. So generally I try and kite enemies a little bit and try fight them like almost like hit and run tactics. But that's because I'm playing with Frenzy. If I was playing like Whirlwind or something, then it might be a bit easier because you can just kind of cruise through enemies with Whirlwind. And I often find that I struggle against enemies that, cold enemies specifically, because they slow me down a lot. I haven't found any sort of item, set item. I think I'm probably not going to use this, probably just sell it. I haven't found anything that's made me immune to cold yet. I don't know if it exists in the non-expansion style game, because that's how I'm playing the game. So I tend to try and avoid enemies when they have cold and are like cold enchanted, or I Millibregus Orb. Okay, it gives better chance of magic item. Yeah, so I tend to avoid cold enemies when I can, especially if they ghosts. I've struggled with ghosts a lot, so it's like, don't be ashamed to like just run past like certain types of like elite packs, because they're going to wreck you. You're gonna have a weakness with your class no matter what you play, and if you struggle against specific types of enemies and you don't have to fight them, just run past them, because it's like, it's not worth dying, really. Okay, this one might be obvious, but always keep track of your potions. I tend to press the sort of console key next to one a lot just to see how many potions I have left, and when I run out, I quickly like run back to town. before I'm like completely out.
Yeah, what the hell?
Because there has been times where I like I messed up, ran out of potions, and then got completely like wrecked. This one has half freeze duration, and it's got quite a high resistances. Might be better than mine. I think it is better. Okay, so the next one is positioning is very important. You want to, like if you stand by a door and you're going to get overwhelmed, generally standing by a door actually helps a lot. Now only one or two things can fight me at a time, and also I can run behind the wall if I want to heal or something from the rain, get away from the ranged like enemies. So I think positioning is actually very important. And honestly, this might be a, just in general like action RPG tip. Positioning matters, in my opinion. It's helped me a lot when I don't just stand and kind of just get bombarded by every attack. Like you want to try almost like tunnel, you know, like 300, where they're in the pass and they tunnel the enemies through and they just smash the shit out of their enemies, right? Because they can't get surrounded. And if you do get surrounded, it's better to get surrounded against a wall, because then you can only get surrounded like by half, generally, maybe like 3 less enemies than what you would have if you were just like in the open and get surrounded completely. So that's one thing. If you do get surrounded, try get surrounded against the wall. But most of the time you don't want to get surrounded. And that's why, like I said, positioning is very important. And like these types of doors, especially against like enemies that can only fit one enemy, like the really big enemies, like those ogre things that can stun you. If you fight them by like one of these doors, you can only one of them can really fight you at a time. And you can also use like bridges and things, like in the Flare jungle and stuff like that. There's these like logs across the river to also tunnel enemies like through like that, and it makes it a lot more, a lot less punishing for you, and you don't take like all the hits. So yeah, positioning matters. Another thing that I tend to do as a like, if I know that if I think I'm gonna die, or like if I know I'm gonna fight a strong enemy or anything like that, I usually open a town portal and just keep it there. So if I do die, I can get back like relatively quickly. So I'd usually do that at like bosses and stuff. But like sort of like at the Claw Viper temple where you get the amulet, I usually die from that Claw Viper, the lightning enchanted one, because he's so fast and they spam you with attacks. So it's like so easy and they knock you back. So it's like you get like smacked into the corner and then they just bombard you with attacks. So usually before I go down into that Claw Viper temple, I'd open a portal. And also at like Duriel and even Andariel, like if I think like if I haven't fought her and I don't know if I'm strong enough, I'll just open a portal just as like a safety thing, just to get back quickly. Because one of the most frustrating things that I find about Diablo 2 is when you die and you respawn in town. I hate that, because it's so frustrating having, especially if you don't have a portal and it's like a slog to get back to where your body is, and then also having to pick up your body. I hate that as well. That like I think it's a bad design in my opinion. But I mean it's part of the game. So, but it's like it's one of the most frustrating things of the game is that you have to go and pick up your items. Like I've actually rage quit a lot. Because if you quit, your body respawns in town once you like relog. Because I was like, I'm not going to run away all the way back, because I know I'm going to just end up dying again and again and again. And then you like lose experience every time you die. It's not a lot, but it's like, it's still frustrating and it feels punishing. So yeah, open a portal as like a safety line. Okay, cool. That's the only things I can think of right now. hopefully there's something that might help someone out there, or let me know if there's any like random tips that you like changed the game for you or anything like that, or if any of these tips like actually mattered or made sense or helped at all. I think generally like Diablo 2, I mean, is an old game. I mean, Resurrected is relatively new, but it's just a remastered Diablo 2 in my opinion. I don't think the game will ever die. I think it'll always remain one of the best action RPG games. And I mean, people like most other games are still trying to like clone basically what Diablo 2 did, in my opinion. And I think they made it like really well. I mean, the game's not perfect. There's like random flaws and everything like that, but generally, I don't think the game will ever die. So, and I'm busy playing it now. After I played it when Resurrected came out, but before that, I hadn't played the game for like maybe 10 years or something. So now Diablo 4 is out now. I haven't been able to play it because my computer wouldn't run, and my motherboard actually broke like 2 weeks ago. That's why I haven't been making videos, and I decided to just like I had to get a new motherboard, so I decided just to get a graphics card as well, so I can play Diablo 4. So I'm gonna make some Diablo 4 content probably, because I wanna, like, I'm keen. I'm actually like it's one of the first games where I'm like actually like hyped to play, and so I'm like, yeah, let me just spend all my fucking money, and so I can play Diablo 4. And it's like annoying because everyone is playing it and I can't play it. It's like one of the first games where every single one of the people I know is playing the game, and I cannot play it. So I decided to replay Diablo 2 because everyone else is playing Diablo 4, and I'm not regretting it. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm almost level 50, so I'm gonna try finish it on Hell, because I've never finished a game on Hell just by myself. I've only finished the game on Hell when I played with my brother, when we played Resurrected when it came out in 2021 or whatever. So I'm keen to try and finish the game on Hell and see how it goes. So yeah, cool. Shot, thanks a lot for watching. Like I said, hopefully you found some sort of useful information. And I'll check you on the next one. Thanks a lot, Shot, and cheers.